Hi everybody, welcome back or welcome to the channel. It's your boy Reactee, and today we're doing a slapped ham video called Scary Videos So Disturbing They Almost Got Deleted. Now unfortunately, I'm doing this really late in the day, and you might be able to hear my pops is out mowing the lawn. I don't know why he chose to do it right now. I just got back from house sitting, and this is the first time I had a chance to sit down and record. So hopefully we can get through this Fright Night Friday video. But let's jump into it.
How you doing? I'm Callan, and this is Slapped Ham. You're about to see some really scary videos. So hit that subscribe button and get ready for more creepy content. Just like this.
I don't like this.
When it comes to scary videos, this first one certainly has the creep factor. This unsettling clip was shared on TikTok by user Sarah from East ETN, who says she captured something strange in her infant's bedroom late one night. According to Sarah, nothing unusual had ever happened since moving into the home. She mentions that her family has always had what she calls visitors, loved ones who've passed, but nothing that ever made her feel afraid. Until now.
My daughter's been asleep for 2 hours.
She makes her way down the hall to her daughter's room to investigate.
I believe we've seen this before. Yeah, that toy is freaking out and playing music. I don't know why. It's just not good.
When she enters, she finds a toy playing a tune on its own. The toy is sitting several feet away from the crib, well out of reach. Her daughter is sound asleep and hasn't moved.
She's all the way over there. How is this standing up perfectly upright and turned on?
There's no obvious reason for the toy to have activated. No.
Well, there could be one reason. This is just a big setup, and the kid can only go to sleep with it playing. But she's acting a little freaked out for it to be a setup, and the kid needs that to be playing to go to sleep. So maybe not. Let me know what you guys think down below.
One touched it, no one was in the room. But the toy isn't the strangest part.
There's no way.
If you rewatch the footage carefully from around the 39-second mark onwards, something else becomes visible. Standing in the darkness of the room, partially obscured, there appears to be the figure of a small girl. The shape is grey, faintly visible, and seems to shift slightly as the camera moves.
They're pointing it out, and I still don't see it. I don't know what they're talking about. If you guys can see it, let me know. I don't see anything there. They have an arrow pointing to black space.
Sarah's caption reads, "I wish I was making this up. Help, what do I do?" She goes on to say she prayed over her entire house with a rosary in hand and planned to do a full cleansing the following day. Some viewers suggested the toy could have been triggered by a low battery, a vibration, or a sensor malfunction.
All those valid points. A lot of these toys, if there's something wrong with the battery, it's dying, or even if it's not in properly, if it got shook out of place, it could think it's dying and just turn itself on to make sure you know that it needs a new battery. But yeah, I'm not sure about that one. And again, I did not see the gray little girl figure that Slapped Ham and other people pointed out. I'm not sure. I don't know where. I don't know what was there.
The figure in the darkness, they argued, could be pareidolia, the brain finding familiar shapes in shadow and low light. Others weren't so sure. They pointed out how clearly the shape resembles a child and how unsettling it is that it appears in an infant's room at the same time a toy activates on its own. So what do you think Sarah captured in this scary video? A glitchy toy and a trick of the shadows, or something watching over her daughter's crib that she was never meant to see?
I'm going to go with a buggy toy and pareidolia.
She's all the way over there. How is this standing up perfectly upright and turned on? She can't reach that.
This short but eerie clip was posted to X on 14th February 2026 by user Daniel807388113 alongside a simple caption, "Caught on my motion-activated security camera, a ghost?" Something can be seen moving through the shot, a shape that doesn't quite match what you'd expect from a passing animal, a person, or headlights casting shadows.
Interesting looking orb thing. Depending on the environment, that could be a bug right on the lens, we don't really know. But yeah, it's a little sketchy. It looks very interesting, but it's a little sketchy.
What makes the clip notable is the motion activation itself. These cameras are designed to trigger based on physical movement within a set range. Whatever set it off was close enough and substantial enough to register on the sensor. Some viewers suggested it could be an insect close to the lens, a stray light reflection, or a small animal moving through the camera's infrared field. These are common triggers for security cameras at night. Others felt the shape and movement didn't match any of those explanations, arguing it looked more like a translucent figure passing through the frame.
I do not see a translucent figure. I see a translucent orb, but that's definitely not a figure. Unless it's just a head, which would be even creepier, actually.
So what do you think triggered that camera? A moth, a reflection, a neighbour's cat, or something that shouldn't have been there at all? This next clip was sent in by a viewer named Spencer Girl, who suggested it for the channel after spotting it on Facebook. The footage comes from a CCTV camera mounted inside a vendor mall in Spencer, Iowa, called Collector's Cove. Then the camera catches something odd. Skeptics pointed out that vibrations from nearby machinery, air conditioning drafts, or items poorly balanced on shelves could explain the fall. If the products were stacked unevenly, one shifting could cause a chain reaction over time.
And the lady did walk by that one spot a couple of times. I'm not sure what type of floor this is. It looks like there's either a power cord or a crack in the floor. I'm not quite sure which. I don't know what that is, but it could be a crack in the floor. If this floor is wood, her walking back and forth could have made stuff move just a little bit and just enough for it to fall off. This is not necessarily something paranormal, but it is very interesting.
but others noted the movement looks deliberate, as if something unseen was making its way down the aisle.
It was already leaning over as well. Anything, the way its head was over the edge already. So any little vibration, bump, or a gust of wind would have knocked that thing over. That's a little weird that it did it at that particular time. But look, it's leaning over already. It's got one leg back behind this tree, and the other looks like half or maybe 3/4 of its body on the other side. It wouldn't take much to knock that over. So I'm going to assume that's something natural.
Recording this to see if I can catch it on camera this time.
This scary video was shared on TikTok by user Bundaloka Kermish, who appears to be home alone in their apartment when something deeply unsettling begins to happen.
I'm home alone for the night, and I swear I've been hearing voices.
Okay. That kind of sounds like the person recording it, which is why they said something about a mimic. If they truly are home alone, this is terrifying. Now, odds are they're not going to go out of this room. They're not going to investigate. So we don't know if she's actually alone. But if she is, that is creepy as heck. Unless she has a twin sister and they're just playing a prank. Who knows?
And usually this happens, but this time it died.
In the footage, a voice can be heard calling out to the user from somewhere inside the apartment. No one else is supposed to be home.
This happens so much now. I'm tired.
Commenters were quick to point out a possible explanation, or rather a deeply unsettling one. Many suggested it could be what's known as a mimic. Mimics are entities said to imitate human voices in order to lure people closer. The concept appears across cultures and centuries. In Appalachian folklore, families living in remote mountain hollows would warn their children never to follow a familiar voice calling from the woods, because it might not be who it sounds like.
Yes, that is something they do say in Appalachia. I don't know why he brought up Appalachia again, or this time. It's creepy that everyone keeps talking about Appalachia. Oh, I don't like it. Oof.
The idea goes back even further. In ancient texts, the crocodile was described as a beast that could imitate human speech to draw victims out of their homes at night. In Brazilian folklore, the curupira, a forest guardian, is said to mimic the cries of loved ones to disorient travelers and lead them deeper into the jungle. And in Japanese tradition, the Yamabiko is a mountain spirit whose voice echoes back to hikers, sometimes saying things the original speaker never said. Whether rooted in superstition or something else, the pattern is consistent across unrelated cultures. Something that sounds human but isn't, calling out from just beyond sight. So what do you think was calling out in that apartment? A neighbour's voice carrying through the walls? Or something imitating a human to see who'd answer?
I'm home alone for the night, and I swear I've been hearing voices. And usually
I've also heard cats that can say hello, and it's fairly human sounding when they get it right, when they do it right. But I'm assuming this is some sort of prank somebody's playing on this girl. It's odd.
Usually this happens, but this time it didn't, so let's keep that alive.
We've covered the Luna Park ghost train fire before on this channel, but today we're looking at one lesser known detail from that tragedy, a photograph that once you know its context becomes deeply unsettling. First, a quick summary for those unfamiliar. On June 9th, 1979, a fire broke out inside the ghost train ride at Luna Park in Sydney, Australia. 7 people were killed, including 6 children. The cause of the fire was never officially determined. Decades later, the New South Wales Police offered $1 million reward for information, but the case remains unsolved. Now here's where it gets strange. This photograph was taken at Luna Park on the day of the fire. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary theme park photo. A costumed character posing with guests, the kind of snapshot families take at amusement parks all the time. But 2 things about this image have never been explained. The man wearing the costume has never been identified. No one knows who he was, whether he worked at the park, or why he was there that day. His identity remains a complete mystery. And then there's the costume itself. Multiple people have pointed out that it bears a striking resemblance to depictions of Moloch, an ancient figure from Canaanite tradition historically associated with child sacrifice. That detail alone would be enough to unsettle most people, but there's one more thing. The child pictured standing beside this unidentified figure is Damien Godson, one of the 7 victims who died in the ghost train fire later that same night.
That's strange. I don't like that. There's a picture of a kid who died in a tragic fire at an amusement park with somebody that nobody knows who he is or why he was there. That is not right. Oof, I don't like that at all.
This photo was taken just hours before the tragedy. Some have dismissed the connection as a coincidence. Theme parks have costumed characters, and someone simply snapped a photo. The resemblance to Moloch, they argue, is a case of people reading meaning into something after the fact. Others find the combination of details too specific to brush aside. An unidentified man, a costume resembling an ancient symbol of child sacrifice, a child who would die in that same park hours later, and no explanation for any of it even after more than 4 decades. This next story has been circulating widely online and has generated significant attention in the UFO community, but it's worth examining carefully. Recent UK headlines claim that President Donald Trump has authorised access to classified UFO-related sites, including locations allegedly housing non-human bodies. The claims stem from comments attributed to Missouri Congressman Eric Burleson, who sits on the House Oversight Committee. Burleson reportedly told a podcast that the White House backed his request to visit classified facilities connected to unidentified aerial phenomena. It's a bold claim. But here's what's important to note about the source chain. No public document has surfaced confirming what level of access was actually granted, or what, if anything, the facilities contain. The story is built primarily on secondhand accounts, podcast comments, and media interpretation of...
So I had heard that Trump was letting out all the information that the government had on UFOs, UAPs, whatever you want to call them, and aliens that the U.S. had. Now, after that, I hadn't heard anything else about it. This seems interesting. But I didn't know they were allowing access to certain sites. But they don't like Slapped Ham said they don't specify what level of access, what, if anything, was actually there. I mean, you could get 100% access and come to a room that's classified above top secret and still not be able to go in. So who knows what type of access they actually had for this stuff. It is... I don't actually think we have, as humans, any actual proof that aliens exist. Because if you invented a ship that could travel through space from your home world to any other world in the universe, why would you come here? I mean, we're a backwards people that are most likely going to destroy ourselves before we achieve anything close to what you achieved. So what would be the point of coming to Earth? There wouldn't be any. You'd most likely get killed even trying to come here, so why bother? Now, that's not to say I don't think there are people out there, other beings out there, but I don't think they've ever come to Earth. Most of the stuff you see in the sky can be explained. Some of it is a little odd, but most of it you can explain.
Those comments. That doesn't mean the story is false, but it does mean the gap between what's been claimed and what's been verified is still significant. To add to the mystery, just last week we had former President Barack Obama claiming that aliens are real.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
Then less than 24 hours later, he backpedaled his statement.
Where are the aliens?
Some viewers see this as the beginning of genuine disclosure and a crack in the wall of secrecy that UFO researchers have been pushing against for decades. Others argue it's political theatre, vague enough to generate headlines without actually confirming anything concrete. So what do you think is really happening here? The first steps toward genuine UFO transparency, or carefully worded statements designed to generate buzz without actually revealing anything new?
That alien was in a morgue, and it was still breathing. Clearly, it didn't have to be there. Well, whatever. It's only a fake little thing anyway. But I agree with Barack Obama. There's most definitely aliens somewhere in the galaxy or in the universe. Will we ever see them? I doubt it. I highly doubt our generation will be able to see them at all.
If you like scary videos, then you'll love this next one. This clip was shared anonymously in a Facebook group by a parent who says their son has always claimed to have an invisible playmate in their house. The parent's caption reads, "My son has always said he has a playmate in our house, but I never really believed him." The footage comes from what appears to be a home security camera. It shows the boy playing alone in a room. Nothing seems out of the ordinary at first, just a child entertaining himself as children do. But then something happens. The boy's arm appears to lift suddenly in a motion that looks involuntary, as though something has grabbed it. It doesn't look like a natural movement. It's abrupt, almost jerky, as if an unseen hand tugged at him to get his attention.
It does look a little off, but heck, I have muscle spasms sometimes that do that too. So I don't think it's anything, but it does look a little suspicious, so I can see why they thought it was ghostly, but it's probably just a kid just moving around, just doing what he do.
And at the same moment, a teddy bear sitting nearby appears to shift position.
What? I didn't see that part. Oh, there it is.
The parent added, "Not sure, but I think his friend pulled his arm to get his attention." Some viewers suggested the boy could have simply startled himself, or that the arm movement was a muscle spasm. The teddy bear, they argued, could have been resting in an unstable position and shifted on its own from a slight vibration.
The arm thing, very explainable. Could be a number of things. Just him playing around, fooling around, doing whatever kids do. This bear appears to lay flat on the ground, tips to the side, and at one point pushes into the kid and makes him move a little bit. So it was moving with some force. I don't think that is a vibration shift. I don't know what it is, but it is. That's a little scary if something like that's happening with your kid in the room.
Others pointed out the timing, both movements happening in the same instant, and the fact that the child has consistently spoken about an invisible companion. If it was a spasm or a coincidence, why did two separate things move at exactly the same time? So what do you think that camera captured? A child's imagination running wild and a couple of coincidental movements? Or evidence that his invisible friend might not be so imaginary after all?
Yeah, the arm thing could be explained. Like he stepped on the bear and then immediately stepped back, and then he pulled a toy out from underneath it. So he was looking for the toy and realized he was stepping on it and stepped back. That could have been his arm, his head making his arm move to try to yank himself backwards, get it so he doesn't step on it and hurts his foot or breaks the toy. That could be it. But this teddy bear thing is still bothering me because, like I said, it appears to be laying flat. And then it pushes into the kid, which is weird.
This eerie clip was shared on Instagram by user VideoChica89, who says they set up a nanny cam on their landing after repeatedly hearing strange sounds at night. What they found on the footage was something they weren't expecting. The camera captured their dog sitting at the top of the stairs, perfectly still, staring into the darkness for over 4 hours. According to the owner, the dog won't use those stairs anymore. So what do you think that dog was watching? A sound it couldn't quite locate, or something standing on those stairs that only it could see?
I don't think it's something on the stairs. It's probably noise or something in this wall. Looking at the angle, it looks like he's looking above the pictures. So at the blank wall, basically. So I'm guessing he's hearing something on the other side of that wall that's attracting his attention. Now, if that's paranormal, I don't know. You can't tell by this footage. It could be as animal. Could be a rodent of some sort, a raccoon or something in the walls that he doesn't like.
If you want to see more scary videos, then hit that subscribe button and turn on all channel notifications. That way you'll always know when we drop our scary video compilations. The Holloman Air Force Base landing is one of the oldest and most persistent stories in UFO lore. Versions of it have circulated for decades, surfacing in books, documentaries, and leaked accounts attributed to military insiders. but a recent post on X has brought the story back into the spotlight, this time with a new detail attached to it. The post, shared by the account UAP Reporting Center, references claims made by Dr. Eric Davis, an astrophysicist who served as an advisor to the Pentagon's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, known as AATIP.
And they went up.
And you're referring to an event that is often just called the Holloman landing.
The
Holloman Air Force Base in April of 1964.
That's right.
According to the post, Davis has stated that former President George H.W. Bush was privately briefed on the alleged Holloman incident.
The information, so he went ahead and completed the rest of that briefing, and that's when Bush learned about a landing at an Air Force base in New Mexico by a UFO, humanoid type, non-human intelligence came off the craft and actually met with uniformed senior Air Force officers and some civilian CIA personnel.
The story itself centers on an event said to have taken place at Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico in 1964. According to long-standing accounts, 3 unidentified craft approached the base and one of them landed directly on the tarmac. A humanoid, non-human entity reportedly exited the craft and was met by a group of Air Force.
I wonder if these are AI generated. Because this looks like a little dude in a suit, and he has 5 toes. I only see 3 fingers, but 5 toes. Interesting.
And CIA officials. If true, it would represent one of the most significant events in modern history. But the evidence supporting it remains entirely anecdotal. According to Davis, Bush was briefed on this incident during his time as CIA director in the mid-1970s. But when Bush reportedly asked for more information for deeper access to whatever program or knowledge surrounded the event, he was told he didn't have a need to know. That particular detail has drawn attention on its own. The idea that the director of the Central Intelligence Agency could be denied access to information within his own intelligence community raises uncomfortable questions about who controls what and how compartmentalized certain programs may actually be.
That's true. If Bush, head of the CIA at the time, couldn't even get access, then who the heck is controlling access to the programs like that? As far as I know, that shouldn't happen in a chain of command for an organization like the CIA or the American government. The president should be able to get access to everything because he needs the information to make decisions about credible threats to the United States. Now, if people at the CIA or even the director of the CIA can't get access to certain programs, then how would the president be able to? It wouldn't work. So I don't know who was thinking this stuff up, but it's probably not true if the director of the CIA can't get access.
The conversation between Bush and Davis allegedly took place in 2003, decades after the supposed event and decades after Bush's time at the CIA. Davis reportedly recounted it in the context of broader discussions about unacknowledged special access programs. It's worth being clear about what we actually have here. No public documents confirm any aspect of this story. There's no declassified footage of the Holloman landing, no official statement from the Air Force or the CIA acknowledging it. What exists are testimonies, secondhand accounts and references in UFO research literature that have accumulated over the years. The Holloman story first gained wider attention in the 1970s when a documentary called UFOs Past, Present and Future included a dramatized sequence of the alleged landing. The producers claimed the recreation was based on real footage held by the Air Force, though that footage has never been publicly released. In the years since, various researchers and alleged insiders have added layers to the account, but the core claim has never been independently verified. Skeptics argue that the Holloman story is a classic example of UFO mythology, a compelling narrative that grows more detailed over time through retelling, but never produces the kind of hard evidence needed to confirm it. They point out that the lack of documentation after more than 60 years speaks for itself. Those on the other side counter that the absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence, particularly when the subject involves programs specifically designed to avoid oversight. They argue that testimonies from figures like Davis, who held security clearances and worked within official government programs, carry more weight than anonymous internet claims. Whether you view this as credible testimony...
That's a fallacy. That's an appeal to authority fallacy. Just because he's supposedly this high science expert in whatever field and did all this research, that doesn't mean what he says is law. Just because he says he did this stuff doesn't mean he actually did. People are very good at lying. So yeah, just because this gentleman says this happened doesn't actually mean it happened. It could be a lot of other things. And as I was saying, people lie a lot.
Or an elaborate piece of UFO folklore that's taken on a life of its own, the Holloman story continues to occupy a unique space in the broader disclosure conversation. It's old enough to have a history, specific enough to be investigated, and just unverified enough to remain permanently in question. So what do you think really happened at Holloman Air Force Base in 1964? A myth that's been polished by decades of retelling until it feels real. An elaborate disinformation campaign designed to muddy the waters around something else entirely, or a genuine encounter that the most powerful intelligence officials in...
Back up a little. Back up a little more. It's a duck. It's a duck.
Campaign designed to muddy the waters around something else entirely, or a genuine encounter that the most powerful intelligence officials in the world were told they didn't have clearance to fully understand. Well, that's it. That's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you can't get enough of the scary videos, then check out those 2 links there for more. Leave us some comments down below or smash that thumbs up button. It really helps us out in the algorithm. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time.
And that was another slapped ham video. Mostly UFOs this time. A few little spooky things thrown in. But yeah, if you enjoyed this Friday Night Friday, let me know. Also, let me know down below if you enjoyed the slapped ham content. It was mostly scary stuff. Now it's turning into investigations and mostly UFO stuff now. So yeah, just let me know if you would prefer I focus on a different channel or some more slapped ham stuff, or sort things out that way. Leave a like, subscribe. It's free, helps out the channel. Do the same over at Slapped Ham's channel if you enjoy his content, because I actually do, even though it's kind of moving away from the scary stuff, but it is still pretty good. I still really like it. But that'll do it for me for Friday Night Friday, and I will catch you next week for another one. Bye-bye.